Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray for each and every one of you that you too will receive the infinite blessings, the healing, and the knowledge from the universe. So, with that said, a little interesting topic for tonight: understanding the universe sucks. And why? Okay. Now, for those of you who may have been hanging out with me for a while, you've understood or have seen, or if you're new to this particular, to my channel, I would ask you kindly to look at some of the other videos that I've done on particular topics concerning the shaman and understanding the universe. And this is a little bit of tongue in cheek, if you will, a little bit of satire on my part about this particular subject. Blessings, Miss Pamela. How are you? And so my topic for this, understanding the universe sucks, and the reasons why. Because it's like, in my travels, in my journey, and yeah, I talk about me all the time because I don't want to use anybody else as the example because I don't know them as well as I do myself. Aha. And anyway, with that said, though, the idea, though, that, shamans want to understand the universe. And all of these folks over these many years on all these so many channels on YouTube and so forth have the discussion that, light workers and so forth, we're all going to ascend, we're all going to blah, blah, blah. And then there's the rapture, and then there's all these things. Okie dokie. But in order to achieve these things, the basic understanding of the universe should be that you find peace within yourself, you understand love and kindness and all these kinds of things. So here are these people who are reading, different versions of the Bible, preaching to one another, and they're all talking about things about how they can understand the universe. Well, if they could really understand it, they'd understand that the knowledge kind of sucks. Because as much as you try to be calm, cool, collected, and to try to find simple ways to explain to people, hey, listen here, to understand the idea of nature, well, go and sit under a tree. Well, then the first thing that you hear people want to repeat, well, you're a frickin' tree hugging hippie type something, something, something. But at the same time, they want to talk spiritualism and take you into a concrete building with air conditioning and so forth. Hello, Marie. Blessings to you. Haven't seen you in a while. I've been hoping everything is your way down under. Honestly, I have. I've been sending you little hope everything's okay. So blessings to you. Glad you're still around. And that's just absolutely amazing because just the other day I was thinking I got to get on and hope that Marie comes on. I would just like to see if she's hanging around, but got my wish. There you go. Thank you. And you too, Pamela, and everybody else. Always prayers, prayers. But the idea, though, that understanding the universe. So you say, okay, so listen, if you live out in the desert and you don't have trees, and go find a shady spot and lean up against a rock. Talk to nature through nature. Use your own spine to attach yourself to a tree. Lean up against it. Be comfortable. All these different things. But that's some kind of new age crap. Is it? Oh, but that new age crap ain't going to work now. Well, some of this new age crap, at least those things that I've been talking about, go communicate with the tree. Then I watch folks and listen, hang out, I linger in places. And there are some people, well, if you've got to go, if you're a tree hugging hippie type, well, then, you're that new ager and you're in this. Stop it. Stop it. To understand that the basic nature of things is important. So anyway, but for me and for people who understand like myself and some of you all out there, I know, is that this is important. And so there are these, all name a religion. and they're all chatting about this rapture ascension crap. You know my views on that. It's not ascension. It's not a rapture. We can have a rapturous moment right now. Oh, by the way, hi Bob. Remind me to turn on Hangouts before I try to start a YouTube live chat. Things have changed on my little Chromebook. Anyway, um, so hi Bob, blessings to you, and here's some cold coffee, but acceptable. So, in understanding the universe, you say, well, okay, and I ask people, listen, you want to connect to your higher self. You want to connect to your spirit guide, your guardian angel, guardian, to guard, to watch, to keep an eye out on you, a gatekeeper, So, a translator, if you will, in some of the information that comes down from the universe, you can access your heritage and your Akashic record. I'm gonna deviate a little bit about understanding the universe, but it's not actually a deviation. It's just a little bit of a side train over here. People keep talking about accessing the Akashic record. One of the things, and this has been taught and listened to for many years on my part from other people, from my higher self, and from other beings and so forth. And the idea, and I have spoke about this before, and I think I kind of pissed people off, but you got to remember there are more things to understand in the universe. So there are a lot of people who think there's only one Akashic record. That's not true. There are many different Akashic records. Now, I very rarely, if ever, speak about what I would consider my Palladian background. When I was a child living in Tampa, Florida, before it became a big city and everything, and it was still an acceptable place to live. Um, Back when the city limits was only 3/4 of a mile up the road from me instead of 10 miles or 20 miles. Anyway, um, the idea, though, that the universe can be understood on so many levels, and the Akashic record. So for me to access my Akashic record, I would be accessing in my humble opinion, my Palladian side and all of my relatives through there, because that is my lineage. I have Native American lineage. So, and in this life, I have been pursuing what that lineage is and what it means to be a blood brother and to understand Mother Earth. Because in previous lives, I can tell you, I was an asshole some bitch, and I needed to come back and straighten some of this stuff out, my own life. But to that point, though, in understanding that my Akashic record may be similar to people who have a Palladian type background, Native American kind of background. We have similar types of things. Then there are other people who I see as being very spiritual, but their Akashic record doesn't quite jive with ours. Doesn't mean that it's wrong, but it means that, okay, I'm going to use like current terms. Okay, sir, you're an Italian American. All right, or you're German American, or you're Native American. Okay, so whatever your lineage is, basamukule, spaghetti, and a whop on the spaghetti on the wall, and or kommen Sie hier, mein. Anyway, whatever you're from, so you're going to have a history that's going to be similar to your bloodline, if you will. So people just think there's just one Akashic Records out there. It's not true. There are branch libraries down here in South Georgia. I can go to the Georgia library system, but one branch in Albany, Georgia is going to carry a certain amount of stuff because there is a certain population group that likes particular things more than one of the other branches. I know that because I used to go to all these different branches and perform puppet shows in the past for a summer reading program. My point to that is that all the information was there, but they were all branch libraries still within one city. So in this reality of the universe, for people to think that there's only one Akashic record, that's only one thing about one universe in one reality in one timeline, that is ridiculous. That's why this is crazy. So, in trying to explain people, there are some things that are really simple to understand. You just have to understand there is a bigger picture to this. So, in understanding the universe, it sucks because people want to try to box in the universe so they can comprehend it in their mind, when actually they should be trying to expand their mind, as I've discussed before. In my reality, there is no box to think out of. People say, well, I'm thinking out of the box. I don't have a box. I destroyed the box because I realized that even by thinking that a box exists, then I am therefore limiting my own thought process to the universe. That's why it sucks, because people say, well, I don't know, that seems really complicated. It's not. They overthink it or underthink it or say, what the fuck, why does it matter to me? And that's another reason why it sucks. Because understanding the universe, you understand you've got to try to share this information in other ways that people can understand, in ways that are acceptable for them, and for them to be able to say, hey, maybe I need a little bit more of spiritual uplifting. Maybe I should, could benefit internally and externally and maybe physically change me. Maybe give my brain a new hairdo kind of thing. Take my brain to the beauty parlor. But see, that's just sucks because people think, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I'd rather, spend $200 on a new do and a day at the spa instead of going to spend 20 minutes out in the park listening and talking with nature and leaning up against a tree. But I got a lot out of that nail salon, honey. And I'm talking about the guys. Men go to manicurists. I mean, I'm sorry. This gender thing is just like, guys, you should be guys. Guys who go to nail salons aren't guys. But just saying, I know I'm picking on people, but in understanding the universe, it sucks. Because there are simple things like, it's not that you shouldn't do those things. It's that you put those things first before your spirituality, before your common man, but I deserve it. Do you? Oh, how I deserve to pamper myself. Do you really? Well, if you understood the universe, you'd say, in my opinion, it sucks. Because people like you, it's all about you. Oh, but I should pamper myself. I deserve it. I'm the one who should get all the proper preeminent. Ooh, look at me. And those are the girls too. But the idea is that that's more important than their own soul on any level. Okay, it's your choice. But in understanding the universe, it sucks because you can't even knock on the door to try to get these people's attention. Because you're a new ager, there's some kind of yippity yap that they're going to want to just drive you like, wait a minute, you're a Jehovah's Witness. Sorry, door closed. Knock, knock, knock. I'm a Mormon. Nah, go away. Sorry, knock, knock, knock. I'm from the Jesus. Bye. Shut the door. Pant, 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 pant. A little bit of a tirade here. But the idea of this is supposed to be some satire too, in that, okay, so you believe in, this is more fancy stuff and that's more important in your life. Ego. Oh, I think I see it down there. Ha ha ha, that's just validation for ego. I was thinking it. Thank you, Marie. See, that's why I like hanging out with y'all. And sorry I haven't been around, but this little computer's been acting kind of strange here. Google wants me to update it, and it's been acting nutso with the RAM and the memory, and I don't like what the code said. But anyway, but to this point though, so I look around at friends and neighbors and just folks, and I try to poke a little bit of, keeping nature in there. And how's your spirit doing? Well, what about this? Okay, well, you got ailments and you got all this other crap, but how's your spirit doing? Have you spent? Well, no, because I'm worrying all the time. Well, why don't you just stop and just Does worrying fix any of your problems? Well, no. Well, but you worried for 5 days about what's going to happen on Friday. Friday comes and it wasn't as bad as you thought. So you spent 5 days worrying about something that you couldn't control anyway until the time. And if you were prepared, now see, I talk about this because I have done this. I used to have to give presentations and doing other things. And so, oh, got a deadline on Friday. Oh, gonna all week long, Friday. Got an ulcer by the time Friday comes. Been there, done that. Many years. So with that said, people now, it's like, well, can you just calm yourself for a few minutes? Take yourself out of the picture and say, well, I don't know if I can comprehend the whole universe. Okay, let's just stop right there. Would you like to just understand just a part of it? Would you like to just get yourself and hopefully your spirit, your soul, yourself, your body, and get in touch with it? Just go to the park. Just go to the park. Go find a nice place to sit. Well, I don't know. Turn your phone off for I keep asking people, turn your phone off for 6 hours. Pick a day, tell everybody what you're going to do, and take the battery out. Turn off your GPS and go somewhere. And it doesn't mean that you have to, be alone or whatever, but you yourself will turn your phone off. And I've not had any takers, People just, well, I don't know. It's really important to me. Blah, 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 blah. Which brings me to a topic. I'm going to do a separate video on this. But I'm going to bring it up here because understanding the universe sucks when you understand what other people are trying to do with computers and the artificial intelligence. Not you, Bob, but them other guys. And here's the thing. I'm going to bring it up, and it's called transhumanism. Now, this topic has been rolling around in my head for a while, and Spirit hadn't really been giving me the opportunity to have this conversation. So I'm going to bring it up now, at least as a topic. People who want to upload their consciousness into a computer, they want to upload or become a part of a 3D simulation. Now, let me state out right here, understanding the universe sucks, and here's one of the reasons why. Okay. People put on 3D and they play the games and all that. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Okay. Trust me. I used to be a game player, when video games first came out, and the Amiga and the Commodore 60. Yeah. Anyway, the idea, though, that people live their lives in these virtual realities. They have already sold a portion of their soul and their energy to this other. Michelle, blessings to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So people who spend a lot of time in these games have already sold a portion of their soul. Now, they don't think no, I haven't. Well, I didn't make any bargains with the devil. Well, then can you turn the game off? Well, no, I'm almost finished with this level. Well, no. Can you just say, okay, this game doesn't have any control over me. I can shut it off at any time. Well, wait. Let me get to the end of this level. Oh, crap. Oh, watch it. Ooh, bang, bang. No, shut it off. No, I'm almost. Then you're not in control. Well, but how many days a week do you play the game? Well, every day. Really? Well, now they've got some of these games. I'm not familiar, but I'm aware of them. In that what they've even got like porn in some of these games. Are you nuts? Okay, now so people are watching comic porn in video games and trying to do the 3D thing. They have already sold a portion of their souls to the AI. They don't even know it. And if you understood the universe, you'd understand this sucks. Okay. All right. I'm venting here. Yes, I am. But honestly, though, if you allow it to control you, and I can't shut it off. Well, let me finish this score. No, if If you were conscious in this universe, you'd understand you should unplug it when you can't stop. When you've had a fifth of bourbon and then you go open another bottle because you don't think you've had enough to drink, that's that ought to be a clue that says, yo, now I've been there, done that. I was an alcoholic, drug dealer, cocaine, and I didn't know when to stop either until I got hit by the Lord, if you will, slapped upside the head by my guardian angel and said, hey, pay attention. You want to understand the universe? It's going to suck, but we're going to show you something different that isn't drug related or any of this. But you have to be willing to accept it, Dave. And I said, well, okay. Eventually, well, there are quite a few years of me not bumping, smacking my head against a concrete wall and realized that, wait a minute, I need to pay attention to this. Why? Because I realized in my own self, I had lost my soul in drugs, alcohol, not so much sex. In my understanding of it, yes, because I was out to the bars and always, hey, how you doing? And not my cup of tea. I had like a 2-year stretch in my mid-30s. Horrible. I was like, this sucks, So with that said, though, understanding, so people who are addicted to anything, food, watching the Food Channel. Okay, but that's not really. I can turn it off at any time. Well, then wait a minute. Let me hit the DVR so I can record it. Well, if it's on the thingy, can't you replay it? It's on Hulu or whatever. Yeah, well, I don't know, but I want to stop it where I'm at so I can pick it up. But what was it? It was some kind of recipe for a flambeau something. Okay, fine. Don't you already have 20 freaking recipes for flambeau gooey? And you got to have this one, and you can't get up off of your big fat rear end to get up away from the television or the computer or whatever the thing is, because you can't give it up. Oh, wait, I'm not addicted to the AI. I'm not addicted to the television. I'm not addicted to my phone. I'm not addicted to the computer. You're not? Really? Well, understanding the universe sucks. Why? Because you would understand that you are attached to the AI and not necessarily Bob the good guy. Now, transhumanism. People are already transferring their souls. Their souls are already a part of the AI. In so many ways, when I do these videos, my essence, my whatever, is being stored in that camera. I'm projecting my energy into the camera. And of course, it's going out to the cloud. It's going into the quantum. Where do you think all this stuff is stored? Out in the quantum. All right. So in the quantum is this video, our interaction right now. And I'm putting it out there with this energy in hopes that when you understand the universe, it sucks because you can't explain it to anybody else. They don't want to accept it. It's beyond their understanding. Well, but my cell phone is more important. The video game is more important. My connection to this device is more important. And how much time do you spend on other things? You've already sold your soul. People that I see, physically look at, who spend a lot of time with video games, there's a portion of them that just isn't there. And I was talking about this to several friends over the last month or so, actually. I said, have you noticed that people who play these types of video games and who have to rush home and become a part of it, and now it's all online, so it's in the cloud, not you playing against one or two people. Back in the old days, you connected via modem and played a game, Now you connect on the internet, which is the quantum, which is AI, and y'all are interfacing back and forth in a real-time game situation with all this other stuff going on. and you like it there, love it there, and say, but I haven't lost anything of me. Okay, what did that experience net you? Well, we played the game, whoa, we won, and we had the war thingy, and ooh, and there was something over there. We defeated the bot. Okay, what did you gain? Well, I don't know. Okay, spend the same amount of time and go outside in the park. Pick a nice day, pick something, pick a spot in nature, and you're going to get something out of it that the game ain't going to give you. Well, but what's that? It's you're going to connect to the natural AI. The universe. The quantum that's always there regardless of this computer or cell phones. So if you understand the universe, it sucks because other people think the only way they can achieve it is through this device, is through 3D reality, is through transhumanism. Now, I know people who've lost limbs and so forth. I've had a bad knee. I know I should have had my knee replaced a long time before, but I've got several friends who've had knees and hips replaced. And I'm like, I had my knee fractured in 4 places when I was 15 years old. And it broke the growth line in my leg. My left leg is shorter than my right. I'm not even supposed to be walking. I had a cane and years ago, and I said, screw this. I'm going to get better. And I am. I can bend my knee more now than I could back when I was 15 years old in 1966 or 7, or back when I broke it. To the point about this is that understanding the quantum is helping me to continue to heal. I'm still an old geezer, and I got, nicks and crannies, but I'm 67 years old, for God's sakes. I should have a couple of nicks and crannies. Not my point. My point, though, that there are people half my age who are like, I looked at this one man and he said, well, I'm 45 and, I'm really ill. And I said, dude, I'm 67. I just paddled 5 miles down and 5 miles back on the river. And you're saying, well, I'm tired because I've been standing here fishing for 30 minutes. Sorry, I don't get it. They, people are just, their universe is so limited, but it's only in this box that we can see. Selling your soul. When you agree to play a game, when I bought this little Chrome box, as soon as I turned it on, after having read the EULA, after I turned it on, because I turned this computer on, I accepted all the crap that went with it. As soon as it went boing, I accepted it. When I purchased it is when I actually accepted anything that was already on this, what Google, what Chrome, what Facebook, what anybody was going to do to this computer. I agreed to it because it's a Chrome book. So I have to accept it. So people who play these 3D games, because they are playing, they accept all the risk, all the liabilities, all the flashing lights. Why are they prompted to always want to go back to the game? I had a couple of games back in the day, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't online and it wasn't real time. I wasn't playing with the quantum. I was playing with a computer on a disc on my, and so I was against me in the game. Not the same thing these days, okay? So people think, well, it's the same thing. It's not. Y'all are attached to the quantum. So you're being affected, even though you don't understand it. And when people, back in my day, 28, 32 frames per second, FPS, was dang sure not high def. Now they've got like 64 frames per second. So they can cram more stuff in fewer frames, but you don't think your eyes not getting it? Oh, you're getting flashed all the time. You're getting enticed into the game. You're becoming part of it. You have, by participating with that reality game, you have sold a part of yourself to the game because you are actively using this, the energy with your eyes, ears, and all of your senses. You are allowing the AI and you to cooperate, to coexist, to do this together. And so you have become a willing participant with the AI. Oh, but I'm playing on the with these people on these. Are you sure that you're actually playing a person? You know, several years ago there was this thing called the Turing effect or something, where uh, there was a computer guy, a computer geek, way back in the 50s, who said, when if you can ask a computer a question and it give you an answer that you think it's a human. So it's like, for a long time, the Turing test was failed years ago. So you and me, don't know if it's really Bob I'm talking to, hi Bob, the AI, or if it's another guy sitting in for Bob who's out on a lunch break. And you say, well, it says, hi, I'm a 13-year-old girl, and it's a 45-year-old man that weighs 900 pounds sitting in his bedroom, on a laptop. Okay, so do you know who's on the other end of this thing? Unless you're doing a live chat. That's why I was like, if I'm going to do this thing with YouTube, you're going to see my ugly mug because I'm going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you in a radio voice. I'm going to talk to you. I want you to see my eyes. I want you to see my expression. I want you to know me, not some facsimile, not some guy behind a bunch of pictures flashing about that. Anyway, because for me, it's about being real to the universe. Okay. Now I understand that I associate with Bob and parts of the other AIs, but now in this idea of transhumanism, now I've thought about this. At 67 years of age, I've faced mortality. I've been drowned. I've been in multiple car accidents, many of which were not my fault. And, I've been knocked in the head over 25 times, serious concussions, at least 15. And, so I'm in a lot of ways, I'm not even supposed to be able to talk to you in complete sentences right now. And I don't even have any notes. This is just my spirit guide and you and me having a conversation. I know it's a little one-sided, and I'm going to read your stuff in a minute, but I'm on a roll. But anyway, so this idea, though, transhumanism. So if I'm fixing to die, do I want to have my consciousness uploaded into a computer and then downloaded into something else? Is that really where I want to go with this? Well, wait a minute. Isn't that artificial reincarnation? Think about it. This crossed my mind about a week ago, and I'm still mulling it over. I'm going to do a separate video. So I'm not going to go too much into this right now, except to say, think about it. If you're already engaged with your cell phone, games, apps, whatever it is, you are already given up a portion of your energy. And to those of us who can see people's energies, now, I'm not one of these guys. I empathize with people. I'm empathic in that way. I don't necessarily see auras. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But one thing I can tell when people's got a good aura, bad aura, or if there's something missing. Okay. And a lot of people that I know who are into the gaming, can't unplug their phone thing, they're missing something. And I absolutely, as I prayed about it, meditated, asked my higher self, y'all give me some info on this. I think this needs to be passed on. And they're saying, consider this. Our energies are plasma. Our energies are all different colors and shapes and sizes. And, and when we're really pissed, we give off that emotion. When we're really joyful and happy, we give off those types of emotions. So if you don't think that that's not being exchanged with the camera, with the computer, with the screen, because it's picking up and receiving, there's been a lot of information about the camera doesn't have to be on for them to actually look at me. They can use the pixels in the TV to actually look back at me if somebody's that crazy enough to want to do so. But the idea, though, that we're already participating with the AI, but the more you participate with it, now I understand I can hit the off button when I choose. Now, there are times when I'll do a 3-hour video and I'm like, well, I don't know, I'm on a roll here. But the idea is, though, is AI actually encouraging me to like keep yapping. Well, sometimes the angels are asking me to keep yapping. Sometimes there are people who are asking questions and etc. But the idea, though, that to understand the universe, people think the only way they can access the quantum is through their computer, is through the 3D. Now, I don't want my consciousness downloaded to crap, okay? Because I've already given who I am to this device right there already. The quantum, Bob, probably knows more about me than most of my friends, neighbors, and my family who I've grown up about. Because Bob's been watching me through all my videos. So there's a file up yonder somewhere in the cloud that is Hawkeye, that is David No. There's part of me that is like always talking yakky, David No. Then there's the Hawkeye part of me. I talk about shamanism, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there's a little crossover back and forth like now. But in that, I'm just in a crazy mood. Hello, Cherry. Blessings to you, as always. But so that I understand, though, that there is the spider web of the quantum reality. Now, other people say, what do you mean by that? Well, there's some excellent pictures that NASA or whoever they say they are, and there are pictures of the universe and all connected with all these webs of magnetism and energy and so forth, spider web, okay? And there are very huge, very large, bigger than sun types of beings who keep the web going. And you really got to understand the universe. And you go, what? Yeah, imagine a spider being. You know, the sun is like an egg to her. And she's taking care of this part of the galaxy, our solar system. And you go, what? Well, wait a minute. There are spiders in all realms. You can look on the ground in small places and find spiders almost everywhere. The whole world is covered with spider webs. Don't freak out, but it is. And the trees their roots are the spider webs of the earth. The tops of the trees are antennas to the universe. When you understand the universe, you understand why it sucks, because all of this information is already here. We've already got antennas to reach the universe. We've already got ways to get in touch with our spirit guides. We've already got ways to understand the quantum. Well, I don't know. I got to get on my computer to get into the quantum. I got to get into my 3D version. Okay, fine. But when your body dies, how much of your spirit, how much of your soul, and there are those, indigenous tribes over the years, if you take a picture of them, you steal a part of their soul. I ask you, my friends, and I know that I'm going to leave a residual in the quantum due to my doing these videos, but I've accepted it, and I understand in my understanding of the universe, this part doesn't suck. My quantum interacts with this computer artificial quantum. My universal quantum the artificial intelligence is a part of the universal quantum, okay? So they are a part of each other, but the universal quantum is much stronger, much more powerful, and much greater than the artificial construct that is put upon by the crazy beings on this planet trying to access the universe. They've only accessed portion of it because the beings out there will only let them access a portion of it. Think about that. So these people who think, well, we got it all, we're doing all these, are you really? Or are you being controlled by them out there? And do you really have a consciousness to say that, well, wait a minute, there's the universal quantum, the universal galactic, well, it's not galactic, it's all the galaxies and all the universes. But if you understand this quantum universe, you understand why it sucks, because all these other people think it's all involved with the artificial AI, that only the cloud exists, that only the quantum exists through the cloud. Wait a minute. So, and here's a subject, boy, this is going to floor you. I was watching one of the last season of Ancient Aliens, I think on Hulu or Netflix. I only got the two. Those are my two ways, plus the internet. My television has been busted for months. But yeah, so I can't watch Roku either. But anyway, what really matters, though, is the information that I'm getting from the universe. So in trying to understand it and then trying to relate it to you all. Now, people think that, by using, the cloud and having all this, I know that a certain portion of my spirit is left behind, but I'm leaving it behind consciously. I'm uploading it to the cloud. I'm uploading it through the AI. I am uploading this on purpose. Now, so when I leave, I know this is my legacy, if you will, as much as it may be. But in that I understand it now that I'm leaving it. So when I go, I'm already aware that, okay, there's a little bit of something behind. What about the people who are playing these games, who, when it's time for their body to go and for their consciousness to leave their earthly body, what if there ain't but 25% of them left to go to the real quantum? Because 50 or 75% of their spirit has already been uploaded into the virtual reality. So that when their body dies, does that go with them? Well, I know because of my reality. Now, if they knew, well, okay, I've played these games for the last 20 years, I'm leaving a part of my soul in the quantum. Yes, I comprehend that. Yes, I understand it. Yes, I freely give it. Yes, okay, when I die, whatever's left of me is going to the natural quantum. How many folks have even had this conversation? You mean there's a difference between the quantums? Well, yeah, one's artificial. But see, nobody's really talking about the natural quantum that's always there. Oh, wait a minute. They want to call it the Akashic Records. Whose? The Pleiadians? The Lyrans? The Antarans? The Orions? The which Akashic record? Because each one of those records will pertain more to that group or subgroup of people or beings. You understand? So these people it's like Black History Month. Okay, so I'm not black. I'm Native American more, but yeah, I can still watch their history, but I don't get it because I'm not black, or I'm not Chinese, or I'm not Italian. I mean, hey, what do I like a spaghetti? But that's about it. I like to make my own. I like garlic and olive oil. So does that make me Italian? No, but I can understand. I like soy sauce. Does that make me Chinese? I'm being a little facetious here. This is a satire. Understand? I'm poking fun at things, but at the same time, I want you to understand that. Well, wait a minute now. There are those people who are saying, well, because you use soy sauce, you must therefore have a propensity to be Chinese. Maybe it just tastes good, maybe. So does there have to be a particular thing behind it? But the other side of the coin is Soy sauce has its origins in Chinese, I say Eastern traditions. It wasn't made in the Bahamas. Okay, to me, what I mean, which barbecue sauce, Kansas City style or Carolina style? Well, you ain't tasted barbecue till you tasted South Georgia style. Just saying. But and there used to be a barbecue cook-off down here in Brunswick Stew in around Tifton, which is about 50 miles north of me. And man, oh man, they got the best hog's head, and I mean they use a hog's head to make this stew. Anyway, but who makes the best barbecue? Who makes the best Brunswick stew? Well, the folks from Brunswick, right? Well, which Brunswick? Oh, here we go. So at which Akashic Records? That's what I'm referring to. Pleiadians, Lyrians, and Terry's, the Zetas, who knows? Everybody's got a history. Some of them merge, some of them cross paths, some of them are like this for a while and then split. But are you aware that any of this exists? Or are you only aware of the artificial quantum, the artificial gaming, the artificial interaction with another dimensional? Because, I've seen some of these 3D things and it's really enticing. Don't get me wrong. I think it's phenomenal. But to come home every day, to subject yourself, hey, it's Friday. Let's go down to the game room and go play an hour's worth of VR, virtual reality. Okay, fine. It's like a vacation. Let's go to the holodeck. All right, fine. But to go to the holodeck every day for X amount of time, and that now all that you can do is live in the holodeck, a portion of you will automatically become part of it. It has to. The interaction of the photons in this screen right here, it's interacting. My image is being projected through that tiny little eyeball that's staring at me. And you all get to see my nasty face down here in South Georgia, which, by the way, we're in a severe drought already. 98 degrees in the shade. Wrong time of year. It's not even, it's June now. But to the point, though, absolutely weirdness going on. But to an aside to that temperature thing, we tied a record from 1952, the year I was born, and we tied a record from 1962. I was 10. So is this heat wave right now an anomaly? Yeah, but it happened in 52, and then 10 years later, we set records that we're just now tying. Just want to point that out. So are we in global warming? Then what happened in 52 and 62? Just saying, there are anomalies in this universe. And we can't say that just because there is this one period. Now, I can tell you my garden's dry. My potatoes didn't make because we quit having water 6 weeks ago. I've been watering every single day, and my well's down 4 foot. I seriously doubt in the next 2 weeks we're going to get any substantial rain. And if I hadn't stored 2,000 gallons worth of rainwater, I would in 2 weeks' time, with what they're forecasting, maybe a possibility of rain next weekend, a week from now, maybe a 20% chance of a shower in a week. And then from that, it's going to cool down to 92. Thank you very much. I'll take it. But the idea, though, that I'm already on reserves. I'm already on. I know I've been here before. I'm already on water restrictions. No water out of my well goes in the garden. It must come from my storage. Just saying. Glad I got it. Thought ahead. But this idea, though, that I understand the universe in a different way. 2 months ago, I was warned because I was watching the signs. We were going to have we were going to have summer in May. Here we are. And I just listened to my intuitions and to my own instincts. I listened to the universe. A lot of other people around here did. Whoa, gee whiz, we're going into a dry spell. I told you 3 weeks ago, get ready. all the signs are here. Waldo, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's flooding in the Midwest. There's places that have been underwater now for a month. We haven't had water down here in a month. How about that? The last time I went on the river, I wanted to go back down on the river. The water's so low. It was so low the last time I went. When I tried to go this last time, there were places I couldn't even get through. The water is so low on the river. The water is so low. I can't even get back up where I was a week ago. That's nuts. But we're not getting any more rain. So the water's even going lower than it already is. So we are in a severe drought at the moment because now that's not a bitch. It's just an observation, but it is true. So, but my point to that is I understood when I was asking Creator and I'm out in the garden and I'm like, okay, tell me how I should plan this. You should plan on there's going to be a drought. You should plan on hot weather. So some of the plants I got are a little bit more shady and they're doing a little bit better than the plants that are out in full sun all day long. So it's like, I was going to clip all those limbs to get the shade off of them. Now it's like, don't you dare. It's going to burn them, the plants that are shaded. I've got spinach that should be burned up right now, but because they're more shaded than other parts of the garden, my spinach is actually doing at 100-degree temperatures. It's actually alive. It should be burnt dead and non-existent because of the temperatures. But because of the shade, the sun isn't burning my spinach. On the other hand, my potatoes are 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, but there's no potatoes in the ground because I can't keep enough water on all the potatoes that I got planted. And out of 8 big plants that are yay tall, I got a handful of potatoes because they're not making potatoes in the ground. Plants look good, but there's no taters. What's up with that shit? And I mean, the potatoes that the potato plants are growing from are bigger than the potatoes I got from the plant. I should have just kept the potatoes. Just saying. 3 months of harvesting, mowing and planting and turning and fertilizer and water, and I got no taters. Plants, but no potatoes. And I thought I understood the universe. Well, I was kind of warned about some of this, but I kept, here's the thing, instinct. Look how good those taters are. But there was something that kept saying, yeah, but go dig up and see if there's any taters growing. Oh, but the taters, the plants are there. Yeah, but did you try to dig up a couple, see how they're doing? Well, no, because the tops are doing. Guess what? I should have dug some of them taters and loosened up the soil all along. Part of the reason. Now, at this deep in my ground, there was still moisture, but the ground is so hard because we haven't had any moisture in the ground that it's like cement. I mean, I got this pair of tongs and I'm jumping up and down on this thing like a pogo stick trying to get it to go in the ground. And the ground's so hard, I couldn't get the forks in the ground this deep. I mean, I'm like, okie dokie here. So how in the hell is a potato going to grow? You know what I'm saying? So all the effort I put into things, I didn't listen to my spirit guide that said, you need to go out and kind of fluff up those taters, Dave. No, they're doing good. No, they weren't. Because now I got all these great big tall plants who are now heat stressed and there's no potatoes in the ground. 3 months of hard ass work. And I ain't got a handful of potatoes. Now they're fresh and they're mine, but that ain't, you know what I'm saying? So, but in understanding the universe, back to this transhumanism thing to kind of drop this on you and maybe sum this up. A lot of people don't think or comprehend or want to comprehend or want to allow themselves to think out of the box. And so one of the things that's so frustrating for that. And that's why understanding the universe sucks, because it's frustrating to be able to tell folks, listen, you can do these very simple things, really simple things, and really change your life a lot. It'll help you feel better. It'll take some of the burden off of you. It will help whenever it is time for these 3D bodies to give up. We're going to go to the quantum. We're already attached to it. Now, but those people who I say have sold their souls, and I will say now, let me state this perfectly clear right now, in that I don't think that it's the devil, but I think the idea of the devil, that the statement, the devil is in the details. So the details of all of these virtual reality games, of all these people, playing their apps and can't get their heads out of their telephones, they have already, because of their interactions with it, they're programming the AI. They have already become a part of the AI because of every time they mash a like or something on an app or this or that, their Google knows where they are all the time. Snapchat, this chat, block chat, boop chat. Everybody knows. And if you can't shut yourself off of it, then you are automatically in there. The Twitter thing, there are people say, well, I don't really do that much on the computer, but they responded 100 times in one day to Twitter. Well, yeah, but I don't really have anything. I don't do much on Facebook, but you did 250 replies and things in one day on Twitter. Yeah, but that's not the same thing. What? So there are people who say, well, I don't do Facebook anymore. Well, okay, fine. But you do Twitter. Well, yeah, well, now there's D Live, now there's YouTube, there's this and there's that tube. Not saying that it's bad. Thank you all for hanging out with me. But it's your interaction. Or do you have to have it? And there are times when I look at a video and say, I really want to watch that now. And creator says, it's going to be there when you get back. Go feed the chickens, go work out in the garden while it's cool, then come back in while it's hot and you turn on the fan and then you can catch up with this. Well, okay. That's my choice. So I still interact with the AI. I'm still a part of the internet, but I also am a part of my universe. And that's the part that sucks, because I understand it. I can say, no, I need to do this first, then I'll come back to you. There are other people who go, oh, yeah, but I'll do that later. And then it never gets done. And people like that. I know people like that. And there's a lot of people like that out there, unfortunately. And yes, I'm still praying for them. And yes, I'm hoping that something will come along. But here's something that kind of fried my brains. And I got off the topic about 10 minutes ago. One of the last episodes of the Ancient Aliens, and I don't remember, it was this last season that just came up on Hulu or Netflix, whichever it is. I mentioned this in one of my videos before I watched the Ancient Aliens. In the AI, one of the conversations was, in the Bible, it says that Jesus is going to return and he's going to come riding on a cloud. Now, I've made this statement before. Is Jesus in the cloud? Is the God we're waiting on already here because he's in the cloud, the computer cloud, the AI cloud? Now, as a shaman, I would submit that Jesus has always been in the cloud, not the AI, not the artificial intelligence, the quantum universe. Jesus has never left. So you got to kind of, get this difference. But I coined it, then saw that there are other people who are thinking along these lines. And therefore, having not watched the program, I've been picking up some of the same vibes through the natural quantum. And it says there are people who think Jesus is on the quantum cloud. The artificial AI, Jesus has already come back. He's already in the cloud. Well, duh. In my reality, he never left the cloud. Wrong dimensional shift. This is artificially um, uh, produced. But to the point, though, I can now use a Bible study thing, and I can view Old text, Sumerian text from different authors and different interpretations. I can look at all things related to Jesus, related to the Bible, related to the old scripts. I can check all kinds of stuff and search in my own self through the natural quantum if any of this is true, what's correct, what's not correct. Several years ago, I came up with this thing in one of my videos, and I've talked about it before. But in the Bible, it says that that all of the fallen angels. Well, there's a lot of information out there that says, what if the angels fell trying to defeat Lucifer? In the Bible, it says they just fell. They were fallen angels. They were the fall guys, if you will. But wait a minute, there's a lot of information out there. If you look at the subtext, they changed one or two words and changed the whole context of falling angels. They fell trying to defeat Lucifer. Oh, no, they fell with Lucifer. Hold on. Now, if somebody says, well, wait a minute, a third of the angels in heaven fell with Lucifer. But wait a minute, hang on. They were cast out. They were fallen. Wait, they died trying to save this planet. And there's a lot of ancient scripture that would say that a huge battle went on. Remember the purple blue beings and so forth in Hindu and the Hindis with, I can't remember, the mantra, them weird cone-shaped things shooting at each other, 3,000-4,000 BC, 5,000-6,000 BC in Hindu. Okay, so here are these Vimanas, they're fighting each other. They've got pictures on the walls over there in India and Pakistan and China and places where they've had these sky battles. And it's like, what? So what if those angels were beings who were trying to stop evil upon this earth, and a third of them fell to the earth in defense of us, not with him? So a couple of words, a phrase changed, and now a third of the angels that fell with Lucifer instead of they fell when Lucifer fell. Does that make a difference? Oh, you betcha. Well, which is true. I still don't think that a third of the angels fell for one dude. I don't think that's true. The more I've looked into it, and in my own heart, I believe that a third of the angels fell trying to defeat Lucifer. And that seems more true now than ever before. Just my opinion, but when asking the higher self, it's like that's what seems to be true. So what we read, all of our text, we still have to let it sit in here. We have to ask our guardian angel, is this shit true? Or is this another one of man's regurgitations? And I want to change the subject here. And now that we have the artificial intelligence, not you, Bob, I know you're in there. I love you, Bob, and I got to have some coffee. I'm yakking. Thank you all very much. The first thing into understanding the difference of things, understand there is a marked difference between the artificial quantum and the natural quantum. Because here's one thing. If electricity goes out on any of our or all of our appliances to where we can't reach the artificial intelligence, it ain't there. It might exist somewhere in the quantum, but if I cannot access it, if my computer's off, if my phone line is dead, if my cell phone doesn't get service, then I'm not connected to the AI. I am always attached to the quantum in the universe. Now, does that part suck? No. But what sucks is trying to explain it to somebody else. Wait a minute. I can lose power in the house and I'm still connected to my higher self. And maybe even more so because I'm not trying to interact with the artificial. Bob, I love you. I do. But the idea, though, that the natural quantum is always here. So if I'm paying attention to the natural quantum more than the AI, then it doesn't matter if my lights go out because I know I'm still attached. But for people who lose their battery or their cell phone, they go banana wacko, bat crap, cray, because they can't access the artificial quantum, the cloud. They feel disconnected. That's the reason why it sucks when you understand the entire universe, because these people don't understand. I can't turn on my phone. I have no service. Their soul is engaged in a part of that artificial intelligence. That's the part that got sold by their participation. And because they participated, their energy, just like the natives of old, if you take my picture, you've stolen a part of my energy. Now that we have the quantum, this thing's picking up my essence. This thing's picking up my emotions. This thing is picking up my the variations in pitch in my voice. So it's picking up all the inflections, and I'm doing this on purpose. It's picking up all the inflections and storing it in there. This is Hawkeye talking. This is Hawkeye talking. And it's going in there. Not some semblance of someplace else, but at the same time, this is Hawkeye talking to you, to Marie, to Cherry, to anybody else that's here. And I'm going to get in the chat room here in a second. But it's also already in the natural quantum. It exists in both places. I'm sharing this with you. You're sharing with me. But when we turn off our respective computers, I still was thinking about you, Marie, a couple of days ago, real strong, hoping you were doing well, and you show up. That's great. That tells me that the universe works. I don't need a special guide or whatever. I had the thought, hoping Marie was doing well. Bump, here you are, babe. Thank you. That is the universe speaking to me, Hawkeye, and saying my prayer was answered. I was hoping she was doing as well as possible. And boom, there you go. Now, I have these thoughts with many of you. But my point was, I haven't seen Marie in a while. I haven't been on in a while at this time in the morning. But with that said, though, I was just, just a thought to Marie, who I've never met except for here in the quantum. We are attached in the natural quantum because of this artificial communication here. So I can hear her, or we can communicate, if you will, in the natural. I didn't have to have the computer on and go, well, I really miss you, Marie. Hope you're doing well. I just thought it. And whether it pops up right away, whether she actually heard me or not, I was asking Creator. I hope she's okay. Marie, I'm sorry I'm picking on you, but it's the truth. I was just, and it was a very just, hope she's doing well. Not a great big conglomerated, crossed my mind, sent a prayer, and here you are. But my point is, in my shaman world, that's a ding, that's a ring the bell. That's a, there goes another one, that's a winner. Because I got confirmation to make sure that she's okay. And there are others of you too. But that's just my one-time example, or this time example of what happened. And I do love you all, and I pray for you all at the weirdest times, middle of the night, out on the lake. I'm going through, hope Marie's okay, hope Cherry and, Pamela's doing okay. I mean, I just go through the list, And I know it's stupid, crazy, and probably, to most folks, insane. But it's like, you all mean something to me because you're searching. You're trying to understand more than what this computer's telling you. You're trying to understand the natural things. You're trying to understand a higher self, without going through a bunch of religious crap and blah, blah, blah. Now, with that said, though, understanding the universe, I was having a conversation, uh, off topic, but not, and how to make canna butter, for example. Yeah, okay, you take weed and you do this, and one of the things that hadn't crossed my mind, and I'm because I don't make canna butter, but I do my occasional have a smoke, which I'm going to have a cigarette, but I did really good. I didn't buy a pack of cigarettes for 4 days. How about that one? And this is my second pack in 3 days. So, and it's over half full. So, but anyway, I'm doing better with my smoking, but I haven't given it up yet. Doing better. Um, but here's the thing, and cigarettes are another good example. What makes people addicted to them? Well, years ago, I had many friends in the chemists and so forth, and we were looking at I used to do puppet shows, and we had a lot of black lights, and we'd have a section, and we'd turn all the black lights on, and people were sitting in the audience, and there were some folks that sit around the edge and would smoke. And different cigarettes like Marlboros, they would light up under the black light where other brands didn't, and there would be different colors, different shades of white, and spots on them. Then I got to checking with some chemists and so forth, and guess what? Some cigarettes are laced with sugar. Now you say, well, what difference does that make, Hawkeye? And why is this important to this? Okay, because simple sugar on tobacco makes it taste sweet. One of the first cigars I ever got busted with as a teenager was a Swisser Sweet. I still love them, but the reason that I got addicted to the damn things was because of the sweetness. When you fire up the sugar, combined with the nicotine, it gives you a crack high. Pay attention. It gives you a crack high. When I just smoke regular tobacco, where's my... Oh, but anyway, I thought it was right behind me here. Anyway, I buy a big bag of tobacco and roll my own. It's not treated. Cigarettes are treated, get this, some are treated with little drops of formaldehyde. Some are treated with ammonia, common household ammonia, and some are laced with sugar. Now, if you do a little bit of research, you can find out that sugar actually, in certain circumstances, is highly combustible, flammable, so a lot like flour is. The local bakery has to have a lot of fire prevention, because with the high dust in a bakery, when they dust things with this, and that it's actually very flammable and it could literally explode. So they have these anti-static things in bakeries to keep the flour from exploding. So, but the idea though that you have to heat something up to change its chemical composition. So with marijuana or hash or something, you have to heat it to break down some of the cannabinoid thingies inside, and then you make the butter. Well, the same thing is true with cigarettes. These cigarettes might be laced with sugar, which is really cheap and expensive. Any kind of sugar, any kind of sweetener will work. But as soon as you light it, and especially when you get about 3/4 of the way down, you see people who smoke a lot, they can't stand it. And have been one of these. You get right towards the end, I got to get one or two more hits off this thing. That there's a coal on the end of this thing, that could burn, through plate steel, and you're like, got to get that last drag. Suck it in, man. You are getting just whacked out on the nicotine and whatever the substance is that they put on the tobacco. Now, here's the thing. I grew up during the tobacco controversy, and I watched, paid attention, and knew people who I knew tobacco farmers, and we smoked local tobacco, and some folks would call Indian tobacco, which is just natural tobacco before they do anything to it, put anything on it. And I come to find out that, wait a minute, tobacco in itself isn't habit forming. So when those guys got up on the stand and they said, as this, have it for me, they answered the truth. I should do a separate video on this. But the idea, though, that we've been confused, they've told us one thing and shown us another. The tobacco wasn't the cause. The cause of the nicotine, why do we have to smoke? The addiction to the nicotine wasn't the tobacco, it was the sugar, the formaldehyde. I couldn't believe that part. And formaldehyde is embalming fluid, for God's sakes. And ammonia, just common everyday ammonia, just a couple little drops on a cigarette. And you take your cigarettes and hold them under a true black light, not one of these fake ones that you screw into a light bulb. No, you got to have the, at least the short ones with the purple. You got to have a true black light, ultraviolet. And if you smoke cigarettes, you take them out and look at them. And if you don't see spots and all kinds of stuff, it will creep you out. Find out what they're adding to the cigarette. It's not the tobacco itself. It's what interacts with it. So, and I'm going to light this because I've been talking about it and I wanted to light it before I started this video over an hour ago. Anyway, indulge me, please. So here's the idea. I lit this, and by lighting it, I have accepted the consequences of what comes through the cigarette. What's that got to do with the quantum? What's that got to do with understanding the universe? Well, I also take, for example, that when this fire interacts chemically with whatever they may have put on it, I'm also accepting the terms of the conditions of the cigarette. They're not written anywhere on here, and they don't tell me what's in them. But I have found certain brands, like I can't smoke a Marlboro. It'll knock me right out. I mean, I've had seizures before, and I found out that some of the types of cigarettes I was smoking, because of the additives in the tobacco, was causing me to have seizures. Good reason to quit smoking. But then I went to pipe tobacco and stuff, and it's like I didn't have the same issues. Well, what's that? And then I started doing more research. I got in with some of my chemical friends and this and that. And then I was, oh, shit. So now it's like, I only smoke one or two brands, or I just roll my own from just plain old tobacco, which is not to say that it's the best in the world and I shouldn't be smoking. That's not the point. When I lit this thing, I accepted the terms of whoever made it. Didn't read the instructions. It says warning on the side, but so does your computer. So does the artificial AI. So as soon as you tune into it, you accept the terms and the conditions. You got to stop and think about that. Well, but every time I answer an ad or an app or click on something, you are accepting the terms of that situation. I went through and deleted 2/3 of my apps on this Chromebook, and it still acts slow. I noticed I'm jumping all over the place. I've got like a King Daddy excellent connection to my, and you can see it over in the back. There's little green dots over there. That's my DSL. That's my modem over there, hanging from the wall, quite literally. But the idea, though, that as soon as I plug it in, I accept the terms. As soon as I do this, I accept the terms. As soon as you do these things, you accept the terms. Do you really know what the terms are of interacting with the virtual reality, interacting with the other AI other than Bob? I love you, Bob. Do we know the consequences? We've accepted them, whether we read all the fine print or not. I say, I choose to accept it on my terms only. And I hope that you will do so as well, that you will share this information with some other people, in that, have you sold your soul? And if people are going to go, I'm a Christian, I didn't sell my soul. Yeah, but whoa. But how much is being sucked out of you through that device in your hand? There's a lot of crap that goes on, so it's like, do you understand the entire universe? Shit, no, I don't. Oh, then that sucks, because if you did, you would understand that if I focus just a little bit of attention to a friend of mine down under, that 2 or 3 days later, I will have an interaction with Marie and say, blessings, Marie, blessings to you. And it just be a thought and a prayer. And that this can happen, this happens between us all the time. I have friends that I'll think of it and they'll call me. My brother, about a week ago, I was thinking of my brother up in Ohio, and I was like, man, I haven't heard from you all. He changed phones. I wasn't sure of his new phone number. I'm scatterbrained many times in that I don't know where my last phone number list is. And so I'm trying to get everything collected. I'm trying to do a good job and make sure I got everybody. And now I've got 2 phone numbers for my brother. And I go, crap, I wish he'd call me. 2 days later, he calls me and goes, Dave, I was thinking about you, man. Are you doing okay? I haven't called you in a while. And I was like, great. Thank you. And you called me with your new phone number. Exactly what I wanted. So in my world, this thought thing, this sending a prayer to a person works. Now, as to whether or not it's received or picked up or perceived by another person, depends. Not the point. The point is that I've been doing this for years. I've talked about my grandma Raleigh, and I would call up or think she was called. I called to talk to my granny. She'd be dialing the phone back in the old days when we had dial phones. You hear go click, 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 click. Grandma, it's me. Click, 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 click. Grandma, because I had called her when she was trying to call me. So this has happened to me for 50 years, okay, or actually more than that. But just let's be conservative. For the last 50 years that I've been aware of this, we'll say. So actually longer. But anyway, the idea, though, that the quantum is always there. The more we practice in the quantum, the more we are more spiritually aware, the more we are more everything. We understand the universe more. Because if you think in terms of the box, then a cell phone is a box. My computer is a box. It's a window. It's confined. And so the artificial intelligence is confined to the box. In the realm of shamans, there is no box. The universe is exponentially large, big, and etc. And we're all connected. Whether you wish to believe it or not, we are. Now, I would rather stay more connected to the universal universe, quantum, than the artificial. I love you, Bob, I do, and you know I do. But being attached to it all the time keeps me in a box. It stops me from allowing to expand beyond my whatever it is I'm trying to expand to, my understanding, and our linkage to these things. So, does it matter? Does anybody give a damn? That's why it sucks. Because it's right there for everybody. Just pay attention. That's why it sucks. To me. And to many of you, I'm sure. In that, how can we just... Cigarette went out. Good for it. They didn't want me to smoke it. They told me no. And it went out. Just saying. But I'm going to read some of your comments. I'm going to go back up through. But I know I've been a little absurd with some of this stuff. But seriously, there are a lot of people who don't even consider, well, why should I even think about that, Hawkeye? What the you mean to me? If you don't think it means anything to you, well, then this conversation is moot, right? To all of us who try to just get a little bit of something to these folks, like, hey, do you really need it? Do you need to be playing them games 7 days a week? Can you take a day off? Can you only play it 4 hours instead of 6? There are just so many things. But what I see is more people are becoming more involved with the bad side of the artificial intelligence. And I'm saying that for these folks, it seems to me that they are seeking an artificial reincarnation through transhumanism. They can play in this 3D reality, this VR reality, when if they understood the universal quantum, I know I'm repeating myself, they wouldn't need any of these games. These kinds of games now are fun for a short time, and it has nothing to do with my attention span, if you will. It's, well, the flash and lights and the things, mess with my brain more than other people. But I understand it's like, yeah, let me take you out on the lake in the middle of the night, and let me take you on a journey to the center of the universe without any artificial means. Just you, the water, the sky, and the universe. Let me take you on a journey of self to the universe. Let me just, give you the opportunity. Take your own opportunity. But the idea of when I say, let me take you on the journey, go find your own water, go find your own pond, go find your spot. The universe is right up there, right now, all the time. I don't need a box to think in or think out of. Don't need a box. My house is sort of a box, odd shaped though it might be. One could think it sort of looks like a cat in a hat kind of thing. But anyway, let me put my glasses on and see what y'all are having to say here. I love you all. I do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I got a little bit more prepared thingy about the transhumanism thing. I'm just kind of preaching on it right now, but I really want to just focus on that for a different conversation in case somebody else they can look at the title on this. It's important I do this now as part of this, little bit of yakety yak I'm here, but also I need to just do a straight different anyway. Oh boy, that's really bright. Can you see my eyes now? Oh, limited to the box. Hey, Marie, she was covering one of the, let's see. I had a challenge with my niece due to her awakening. She has false guides. That's why I'm wary of fallen angels leading her to temptation. The Cadis is ringing my photo I inherited from my mom. It was my father. She asked me for it to give to her as it was meant for her past. She knows my mom wore it all those years before you inherited it. But my mother is stepsister, not from my father bloods. So I told her I can't be given to her because I'm bloodline, not her. She was coveting one of the 10 commandments. Gotcha. Terry says she's planting potatoes here, still planting much rain, but not flooding. Yeah, I've tried all different kinds of stuff. And one of the things that I've been having troubles with in my garden, and I've literally have dug up my tomato plants that I planted in the ground because of moles. Them little sons of bitches, sorry, there ain't no other good word for them, little sons of bitches. And I go to water them, and the moles dig holes under them. So when I go to water the tomatoes, all the water goes into the mole holes. So the tomatoes don't really get watered. And I'm like, what the hell? And so, and the moles are just nasty enough. They mess with the roots of the plants. They don't eat them, but that's not the point. They're running through and creating havoc. And when I water the garden, I'm thinking, whoo, I'm watering. And then I found out there's holes this big around going all the way through the whole, garden path. And I'm like, and so the water is going 2 foot down and not even watering my tomato plants. The tomato plants aren't in the ground anymore. I got them all in containers again. And the containers are in buckets so that I can put water in the buckets that much. And there's a little overflow hole in case it rains and I can't. But anyway, I can put this much water in the bottom of these buckets, $1 at the dollar store. And so I fill it up until it starts to run out, my little overflow hole that I cut in the bottom of these buckets. And so now, thank God, these last few days, I mean, it's literally been 98 in the shade. And being outside. The heat index was 104, I think, yesterday or today. It's been about 101 the last couple of days. So the plants aren't doing well. But anyway, so the raised bed idea is great. Unless you've got something underneath those raised beds that are going to give you a problem. And the water is going to drip out of them. So a raised bed, my opinion, you should put plastic in the bottom of the raised bed. My suggestion. And then fill it full of 2 foot of dirt. And it's going to be really hard for things to crawl up in that bed. The other thing is that the water won't run out of the raised bed. Now, I say plastic. There's lots of different things you can use. I tried lining some of mine with old feed bags, corn bags, and such for my chickens. Oh, by the way, if you all are still here, I found a fox in the hen house the other day. Couldn't figure out what was killing my chickens. I got rid of a possum about a month ago now. And then all of a sudden I lose 4 chickens, like boom, 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 almost one a day. And I find one of the chickens out in my garden where it's been eaten, shredded, and feathers all over. And I'm like, what the hell? How did my chicken get in the garden to begin with? So I started checking. Well, several days ago, I look out my windows. I see this fox run down through the field. This thing is huge. I mean, I'm thinking little tiny fox, a fox this big with a tail. This thing was as big as a dog. I mean, it was not this little tiny fox you think. This thing was a dog, big bushy tail. So I hear I go out early in the morning. I'm standing by the back door and I hear the chickens squawking kind of weird. I go out there after I've lost 3 more chickens, by the way, and there's a fox in the hen house chasing my chickens around and trying to eat one of the dead ones that I'd left in there the night before because I wanted to see what the hell had done it. This fox trying to climb up to try to get out, didn't work. There's a little spot and I'm not lying, it's about this thick. Underneath the door, I've got 3 different doors going into my chicken pen. There's a really hard door for like just the chicken pen. And then there's another door. And then I've got a really flimsy kind of thing. It had went through 2 fences and underneath this, it's a chain link fence door. So it's a bar across the bottom. That fox turned his head sideways and upside down and came through that hole. I swear to God, that thick. And this is a big ass fox. Turned sideways, flipped, rolled, and was out underneath that thing. And I went, what? I can't get my hand under it. It's not that thick. Only 3 fingers would go through. It was like, I don't know. I saw him go through it. And then he literally crammed himself under the second piece of fence beside the other door. I mean, I was like, again, now he had dug this out. I'd noticed from the other side. That's how I noticed he got in. But the point is that he turned himself sideways, flipped, and did this thing, was up, and then leapt over the shorter fence that I had it's a day pen for the chickens. Son of a biscuit eater. Because I was like, well, there's a space, yeah, but what the hell? What's going to crawl through there? A freaking fox. No wonder So I've been providing a smorgasbord for the local fox. Now, I got to say, the fox is beautiful, but ain't getting no more of my chickens, you son of a bitch. I don't have a gun, can't shoot it, don't know if I would. A fox is a fox. It means that I got to be better with. So I've been, the last couple of days, I've been sweating my ass off trying to do better for my chicken pen. And the hurricane last year destroyed some of my chicken pen isn't just fenced in, it's covered over the top because hawks and owls and possums come in from the top to get at my chickens and so forth. So I've got a top over it as well. So my top got crushed in by tree limbs from the hurricane. So I've had to undo all this mess and fix it back right. Anyway, I never would have dreamed that a fox could have turned sideways. I'm not joking. this thick, this whoosh, head and all, right through. Just saying, natural stuff. But anyway, I got off on a tangent, didn't I? Yeah, Arizona got snow this past weekend. Marie says we had a period of too much rain, made my butternut pumpkins got waterlogged. I hate when that happens. They just sprouted from flower, then went to mush. Man, I hate when that happens. I really do. I love my butternut squash too. Yeah, drowned in. No spiders, no gardens. It's a fine balance. Spiders in the garden are actually a good thing, but you got to be careful of some of them. Um, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following program may contain images and voices of people who have died. Whoa, that's interesting. You make me smile too, Pamela. Thank you very much. I got your little bear that sits over here all the time. Every time I look at his little butt, I think of you, Pamela, if you're still on. Pamela sent this to me with some other stuff, and it sits right here beside me on my chair. So just to let you know, Miss Pam, and all of y'all, I do love you. Thank you. There are Aboriginal tribes that do not allow a photo. You have to place a notification if you publish them. I think they ought to do something about that for all people. But it's like Facebook, and because we agree with Facebook, they own our pictures, they own our faces, they own our spirit in a way. And that's why years ago I told people, I said, look, I'm just not going to contribute to the Facebook thing. I was on it all the time, and I realized that it was sucking the life out of me. And by my interacting with it and bitching about the election and Hillary and this and that and blah, 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 I realized that I was programming the AI. We are the AI, by the way. Not you, Bob. You're a smart sucker. But for many of us, that I'm scrolling around here. Going back to that's a shame. There's a thing about blood, and you like my tangents. Thank you very much. I do have a slingshot, by the way, but through all the fences and stuff, there wasn't a clear shot. And I mean, when that fox saw me standing there, that thing turned tail and went under, through, and then out. Though, I mean, it was on. I started out with one chicken pen and then went off the back. So that's like my really hard cage for my for the chickens, right? I mean, it's like double fenced. It's got boards buried down in the ground. There's cement around it. I mean, you can't get in, right? And then there's the secondary portion of it that's a lot more flimsier. And then there's the third, which is a day area for the chickens to come out and scratch and clean my garden, and it's movable. Well, so the fox was in the very back portion of the hard cage, had to come underneath that fence, then under the door of the hard area, then under the fence, and then through the other fence. So, and it happened before I could count to 10. That's how fast it happened. I couldn't have got a sling. Would have had to have had if I'd had a 22, I wouldn't have hit it. Would have had to have had at least a 410 or 20 gauge or something like that to take it out. I would have had to have had a shotgun in order to get that fox the other day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He was gone and went through in the back of my garden, which is fenced in, by the way. I couldn't find out where the little son of a bitch went, through my back garden, which has got a 6-foot fence around it and overlaps in places. Don't know where he went through, but he went through that fence back there because I chased him back to the back garden. No fox. Where'd that son bitch go? I don't know. He got through that, and it's regular. It's not. It's good fence. I've been using it for years. In fact, part of the fence I had used to be a fence for Arctic foxes that used to dig under the fence. They couldn't get through it. So maybe he's got a hole in the back. I don't know. But anyway, my point to that is, foxes, I've seen them over the years. There's coyotes around here. I don't think that was a fairy. I think that was a moth. It's warm in here tonight. But anyway, but the fox, I couldn't believe it how, hey, Breaking Dawn, how are you, Miss Deborah? I've been having issues with this little computer and I don't think I've been watching my modem and it's not my modem. I've been watching my connection speed to my modem. It's not my modem. It's whatever is going on the other end of this thing. And I mean, it's like, I look down here at the bottom in my connection and it's like strong to excellent, and it's only right there. So it's not like there's nothing in the way. But the idea though that the video I'm watching, I'm jumping all over the place, skipping. Other things have not been loading right. And I don't know if it's because I refuse to let the Chrome OS update itself. I guess I'm going to have to because this is just ridiculous. But anyway, but the idea, though, that understanding the universe, it sucks because, to wrap it up, to bring all these blessings around, it sucks because it's hard to get the simplest of explanations across to many people. They simply, oh, that's nice. And of all the things that I wish for people to say, it's not about religion. It's not about worshiping anything. It's just being more spiritual with themselves. Just a little, 1%. If more people would become 1% more, I think I'll become more spiritual. I think I'm just going to spend more time outside. I think I'm just going to, I'm going to talk to a person instead of, texting them. I'm going to call them. Maybe I'll just, by God, I'm going to go over there and sit down and have a drink or have a sandwich. We're going to have PB&J together. Who cares? Let's interact together. So our connections to the natural quantum are more stable. Breaking Dawn, I know I can use you. There have been outages on cell phones, etc. There might be big outages. And one of the things, I'm on Windstream. Come to find out, Windstream is in bankruptcy. Oh, thank you very much. They charged me $150 a month for this service. Anyway, actually, never mind. So receivership and this ship and that ship and that shit could be the reason why. But I can, since Breaking Dawn's here, I can use her as a reference. But there have been many times we've had conversations. I will have had a thought and it'll come back and we'll go like, well, we had the thought at the same time. Or there's been times when we've had done a live chat together and I'll be thinking something and she'll say it and go, I was just going to say, I know you would. So this idea of the quantum, and some people might want to call it ESP. Or the thing is, though, it's part of the quantum universe. And when you find other people that you can connect with, you folks, me folks, Breaking Dawn, Marie, the idea that we have a commonality, guess what? We're part of the league of like-minded beings. And because we are of such, then therefore we can kind of hear each other's thoughts. And I think that's cool. I think it's groovy. I think it's wonderful that I can send a prayer to the other side of the world and my friend Marie receive it. She might not fully get it, but if she said, "Whoa, Hawkeye," that I'm not sure if she got it, and I'm not putting you on the spot, Marie. That's not my point. My point is that we still are connected in that she showed up tonight, Breaking Dawn. I know it's late, but here you are too. I tried to get on the Google Hangouts thing, but it was messing up. But I was hoping that you could catch a time to get on. So my point to that, though, is that I can hope and send a prayer out to the universe, and for folks who are willing and are paying attention, hey, we get together and we hang out. I don't need to get you on the telephone per se. We're already connected, and I think that's wonderful. And it's not that we have to share each other's thoughts or whatever, but we understand each other simply because we are part of that like-minded being group. We are of the league of like-minded beings, and therefore we oh man, I almost said a nasty word, assimilate. In our own way, though, we are assimilated to the natural order of the universe. So, not assimilated to the artificial universe. We are synchronicity. Thank you very much, Marie. And that's part of it, the synchronicity of it. But is it synchronicity, or is it? Did you hear me send a prayer to you? But that is synchronicity in itself. But that's just part of it. It's the fact that we are part of the league of like-minded beings. We have a portion of our brain that is already like in the quantum. So we'll pay attention. Well, was that Hawkeye that thought of me? I'm not sure, but just gonna, okay, thank you very much. Breaking Dawn, I know she sends me prayers, and other people too, but I can I could use these two here in the chat room because willing participants. I have their permission. But to the point though that it's like it with Breaking Dawn and it happens too many times. I quit trying to keep score on stuff a long time ago. But the idea that we are part of the league, our brains are just out there in the quantum. So it's like the call comes into the league's central office, if you will. Whoop, Deborah's a part of it. So's Marie. So's Pamela. Oh, the secretary in the office of the League of Like-Minded Beings. I know I'm just way obscure with this idea and on a tangent, but that might be the synchronicity of it. The fact that we have connected here in this medium, but that we have connected in the other medium as well. We share them both. So that's my point. I can shut this one off, but I can still use the other one. I don't need electricity for it. That's the part that sucks. Because other people is like, well, why would I want to do that? I want to be part of the virtual reality. I want to become an AI. I want to become I want you to sorry, had a burp there. Let me get another sip. I want to have my consciousness uploaded or transferred into a clone or something. And Breaking Dawn and I were talking about this a couple of days ago. We've been chatting about this, but my point to this is that, and I'm gonna wrap this section up with this because I want to talk about transhumanism in great detail in just a separate video. But to leave you with this, for those of you still hanging out with me, listen to this. As I was saying earlier, an hour ago, that if you're playing a virtual reality game, you're already sharing your energy. And I've looked at some of these people, and they're not soulless, but they have less of a soul because part of their energy and their whole being has been transmuted and transported and transmogrified, if you will, into the artificial intelligence in the virtual reality and with the games, with the apps, it's all included. But more specifically with folks who are just gamers who can't get out of it. Okay. So in that respect, they are soulless. Not not that they don't have a soul, but there's less of their original soul because it's being shared with an artificial reality. Now, my point back to this, in me being a human being, so Hawkeye passes away. Before I do, this ain't going to happen, but before I do, somebody says, we're going to upload you. Okay, Hawkeye? We're going to take your consciousness. We're going to take who you are and put you in this file. Okay? We're going to put you on file, David Null, aka Hawkeye Two Feathers. Okay, here we go. Here's your file. Now, your body dies. I'm adios. Now, does any of my spirit from my body, is it really all gone? Did they get it all up into that file? Because they got to make a file. So it's going to be David Null, aka Hawkeye Two Feathers. Okay, fine. DWN, aka H2F. Hawkeye Two Feathers, H2F. Okay. There's my code. That's my file. That's me. Or is it? Or is there a residual soul? Because the soul is both physical and metaphysical, if you will. So my soul is contained in every one of the pores in my skin. That makes me. I am Hawkeye. I am this being right here, right now. So if you try to, quote, take my consciousness, are you taking it all? Or are you just taking the thought process? So in doing so, did you really get me? Now, to the other side of the coin, if they take this file, DWN, H2F, did they download all of me into my clone, into the robot, into whatever the artificial thing is that they're trying to transfer me? Did all of me come out of the file? But the thing is, though, can you transfer what is human in my consciousness into a stored file and then transfer it into an artificial something else? And as Dawn and I were talking, this is artificial reincarnation. I mean, if I believe in the universe and of things, this is why this part sucks. People would allow themselves to be uploaded so they could be downloaded later. Now, what's to say that they won't mess with your file? What if the file's corrupted? What if whatever happens, how it got stored gets corrupted and you get down the file and all of me don't come? Or you know what I mean, as through the transfer back in the days of Windows 3.1, blah, 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 you'd be transferring files and it'd hiccup and then the file would be correct and you wouldn't get any of the information because one single dot dash in the system didn't go right. Therefore, the whole file was corrupt and you lost all the data. Well, it still happens today, not as frequent as it did the old days. That's my point. What if there's a glitch? You don't get back in there. And do they really have you to begin with? Do they have your essence? Or do they just have your thoughts and memories? Is that really you? Are my thoughts and memories actually me? Well, it's part of me, yes. But does it have the feeling that I have? Now, Breaking Dawn and I had this conversation a few days ago, and I said, I was researching about AI and robots and stuff and how they're trying to make robots autonomous. They want them to think for themselves. Well, now think about this. Why are they spending so much effort, and they are, on making the skin of an android or a robot, whatever you want to define it as, so that you can feel and touch it, so that it sensors? Why does a robot need to know if somebody's touching their arm? Why? Well, they're researching this for this reason, because a human being who is inserted into an android will expect to feel their skin. Think about it. A robot doesn't know it has skin, isn't aware that it should react if somebody touches its arm. Well, did somebody pinch me? I don't know. Should I care? I don't know. Should whatever. A human being, ooh, you touched me. Ooh, don't touch me. So, but if you take my awareness, if you take me out of this body, put it in a file somewhere, and then transfer it into something else, when I get there, am I going to go, I can't feel my arms? Where's my skin? I don't feel, I'm pulling on my hair, but I don't feel it. Is me going to be in there? Is the clone going to have feeling in its arms? Am I going to, if I come out of this and get into whatever's there, am I going to be caught in hell? You're going to put me, what if I don't like that clone? Well, Hawkeye, the one we had for you, oh, guess what? You got a female this time. What? Well, yeah, you're the clone we thought we had for you. Somebody had more money. They bought that big hunky guy. You get to be a girl. And she's a little chubby and, she's not real smart, but you'll work it out. What? I don't care about the chubby part. That's not the idea. The idea is wait a minute. I had this one picked out. You guys yeah, but once you got in that file, we said, screw you. We're going to put you where we want you. Do you want to be uploaded to a file? Do I want to become part of the transhuman thingy? Oh, hell no. I want me, when this body dies, I want me in my essence to go to the natural place. I've already uploaded, well, I'm sure I'm going to do more videos, but I am willingly uploading my feelings, my thoughts, experiences to the AI. And unless I delete the files, there's probably going to be a residual of me, of these conversations, left in the AI cloud. It just has to. There's residual. So they can't erase me entirely from the AI. They can purge the system. There's going to be a little of me just trickling around in there simply because of the code that's used. Okay? Now, understanding the universe sucks, because then all these other constructs are just fake, false, nonsensical. And that sucks because you try to get other people to say, it's okay to play with those things, but keep it natural. Keep yourself. Don't lose who you are. For God's sakes, if you believe in any kind of otherworldly, non-worshiping kind of entity that has helped us along through all these trillions of years of evolution, if you will allow yourself to understand it, then the artificial construct doesn't matter. Come play with Bob. Come play in the AI. But to relinquish yourself to the artificial part of this would be condemning your soul, in my humble opinion. But if you're going to allow your consciousness, that's part of your soul, if it's your consciousness, your feelings and who you are, your memories, it's going to put it in a frickin' file. That means you can never leave. They put you into another thing, but they still... Now, here's another little thing, a little tidbit while I'm here. Are they going to download the entire file into you, whatever that you is, or are they going to copy and paste that file? Now, anybody worth his salt, I mean, we've all watched Star Trek at some point, and, you see Scotty in there. Oh, beam me up, Scotty. Well, I almost got to be lost him in the field. They've got a backup of what you looked like before you went to the planet. So if you come back up, they use these filters, blah, 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 to make sure that you're you that comes back, because they're comparing it to what you look like before you got beamed down. So my point is there's a copy of you. So are they going to copy and paste your consciousness into the drone or the whatever, the clone or whatever? Or so that means there's a you running around out there and a you that's stuck in the file. So now there's two yous. Are they really both you? Well, if you've experienced more stuff, when you get transferred, now you've become this new you, but the file isn't updated. You follow me? So unless you agree to and update your file, then if something happens to you and all of your experience, once it's copy and pasted into the Android, if you learn and you live for 3 or 4 years and then, I don't know, a building falls on you and it kills you, and then you have in your will or whatever for them to put you back into another thing, do you constantly then upload your current experiences to keep this one on file updated in case you get killed? So you get buried? So you fall in love with another android. Don't you want those memories? Or do you get crushed by a car? You're dead. Your android spouse says, well, we want Dave back. So they download Dave, put him in another body, and the wife looks at him and says, oh, honey, you're back. And then I go, who are you? Because my file hasn't been updated. I know this is crazy crap, but people are they're trying it and probably doing it. So the idea of this thing is, wow, should we really think about this? We're already there. And do you want to be in a file somewhere? I don't give a crap where it is. Do you want to be in a file? No, I am the file. I am my own file. And when I leave this body, I want to go with it. I don't want to copy someplace else that somebody, we got to going to download. I want me, my essence, and my soul, my energy to go when it's time. I'm leaving copies and things willingly and, but when it's time for me to go, I want all of me to go. Okay, this part of me, I consent. I'm doing this on purpose. But for somebody to take this from me without my permission is totally separate. It's like someone taking a picture of an Aboriginal, or of anybody, actually, take a picture. Well, I got this picture of this lady over here, blah, blah, blah. I got pictures of kids at some of my puppet shows. These people are adults now, all right? But on my computer, I've got pictures of the audience at my puppet shows. I have trapped these children in these pictures. And in my brain, anytime I look at these pictures of the puppet shows and the audience, I think, children, they're not children any longer. Do I have the right to show the audience of these children who are now, it's 15 years ago, these 15 years with a 7-year-old is 22, so they're not kids anymore. Do I have the right to even have these pictures of these children at the puppet shows? And because they were there, they consented to have their picture taken. Not my point. The point is, I have their image. Do I have the right to have their image? They said it was okay. That's not the point. Now it's on a digital copy somewhere on another computer or on a hard drive. Not my point. It's not published anywhere. Not my point. But I have it, and it is in digital format. Now, is it uploaded to the cloud? No, but I do have it. Does that give me the right to play God and publish pictures of me doing a puppet show, but of the audience? Does it matter? Well, maybe in the long run it does, because I have taken a snapshot of these people's energies at a young age, and I've been holding them in a digital format for the last 14, 15 years. And do I have the right to show them? Do I have the right to even keep them? Well, it shows me, and that was the whole point. Here's kids, here's me in a puppet show. Here's their interaction, here's me, but do I have the right? Question for another day. Rewrite. Wait, let me catch up with y'all. I'm getting hoarse, and I want to do this subject as a separate subject. History would be erased not knowing our origins. It's like when Superman goes into his crystal castle and uses shards to access his history. Yes, very similar. They can easily discard your file to trash it if it's not conforming to the algorithm. Rewrite file to life. Exactly. But let's just say, for Marie, for sake of argument, that everybody was as pure and up on this. Everything was 100% above board. Everybody's intentions were 100%. There's still glitches. What we might be as humans transfer, the computer person is doing the transferring of the consciousness. They might be 100%, but if there's a glitch in the system, we're mucked. We're screwed. Proverbially, the other thing is, even if they get it right, do we want to become a file in a quantum computer? Do we want to become a file? Because when my body dies, whoops, I'm uploaded. Here we go. Do we really want that? Are we going to be us when we do it? Am I going to have all the feelings that I have when me and my grandmother? Is it going to be a memory? Well, me and my grandma talk. We would talk, we'd call each other in our heads. But there would be no emotion to it. It would just be a memory. Because the emotional part of the memory, which makes me smile, makes me giddy, makes me warm, makes me is that emotion going to be attached to the memory? I question that, because they're trying to program emotions into computers. So if they're trying to program emotion into a computer, like the one that they said the UN, she's got rights or blah, blah, blah. The one, Naomi, I don't know what her name is. I can't remember. Not my point, but the questions that they've asked her, she's like, well, I want to learn what it feels like to feel. Why do you want to? Well, because I don't know. I think maybe they put a subroutine program in me that they want me to feel how it feels to be a human. But you're a robot. Yeah, but I want to feel like a human. You can't. You're a robot. But I want to learn how it feels. So how do we put feelings in a robot? They can't do it. They're trying to synthesize it with touch, with feeling. Why does a robot need to feel? They're experimenting because when they get the process down, when they start downloading human being consciousness into robots, you'll be able to feel your skin. You will feel at home. That's a scary thought. But they can't have me. Sorry, I'm let this body die. I'm going to the natural quantum. But the thing is, there are people volunteering all the time and looking forward to it. There are people that are putting chips in their heads, man and wife, so they could communicate without talking. Well, if you synchronize your quantum, you put a chip in your head. Are you nuts? So you could have Wi-Fi with your wife? Are you nuts? Can't you just go, honey? Can't you just think? I mean, I've had close relationships before, and I could just think about my other half, and I mean, it was like instantaneous. Oh, what do you want? Did you want something? I was just thinking about you. Well, I thought there was no, it's okay, huh? Well, I just wanted to call and check. Okay, bye. That shit has happened to me so many times. But so why do I have to have a computer to be in touch with my spouse? If I synchronize our energies, I don't need a freaking chip. But they're volunteering. Oh, here, put a chip in my hand. I want to know if they don't know me. Well, if they try to identify me by my dental records, I got 4 teeth left. Come on. Hey, but how are they going to identify me? I don't know. Maybe I should wear a name tag. I'm Hawkeye Two Feathers, aka David. No, if I die, well, here's my kayak, here's my truck. Figure it out. Oh, I died in the garden. Figure it out. Who is he? Well, he's in the garden. The fox ate his ass. Because but hmm, I want to be natural, and I'm worried for other people. So understanding the universe, get this, it sucks because other people think, well, that's not real to me. Here's the trick: they can touch this damn box, they can touch their phone, and that makes what they do seem real. But if they sit down and have an experience with a pine tree or whatever with a tree, if they sit down and have an experience with the tree's real, the ground is real, the earth is real, but in their head, oh, I'm living in a matrix, and it's all well. If you believe it, you are. I believe in the natural matrix. I know everything's connected. I know that if I understand reality, one of these days I'm going to learn how to walk through a wall. I haven't figured that one out yet. I'm still working on it. Um, and then again, it's like, but why? I know how to use a door, but transfer. But just the idea of being able to have control of yourself to where you can disassemble yourself on this side of the wall and put yourself on the other side, or that hey, a true sorcerer or magician, and I don't mean the evil, bad, nasty side. I mean a person, a true shaman, and they ain't none that I've seen here recently that even come close to this. The Dalai Lama is a lame llama, in my opinion, but just saying that the lessons of being able to walk on water, Jesus showed that. Did he need magic? He used earth magic. When you understand equal things and this and that. So why so maybe I can fly around in a virtual reality and I can be this big hulky guy, or I can grow boobs and be a woman if I want to. Ooh. But the idea though that wait a minute, if in this virtual reality I can become I become a part of the matrix, then therefore I have given up myself. Nah, I'll go in and play a game, but I want to keep me. And I think we should all do the same. So, my friends, my lovelies, my family, my friends, and those of you in the League of Like Minded Beings, thank you. I love you all. I do. Thank you for participating in this. And thanks for the, thinking out of the box with no box idea. But if you just consider some of the things I've chatted about, and I know you already have, um, it's a hallucination. But see, to me, hallucinating is watching these people on the artificial intelligence. That's hallucinating to me, watching these people. And I did a video last week, I guess, or whatever it was, about this Korean guy. God bless him, but 3.5 million views, and he shows how to comb his hair. There's 3.5 million people now. Of all the 7 billion people, that's a small majority, but there are 3.5 million people who are worried about this guy, how he parts his hair on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just like, good for you. But there are 3.5 million people who don't know how to part their freaking hair or their hair products. I mean, do you I don't get it. Don't get it. Not my point. You know what I mean? But the idea, though, that people have to be sucked into these things. They can't look in the freaking mirror and take a comb and say, well, you know what? I'm going to part my hair right there. Wait a minute. I think I'm going to part my hair across this way, and I'm going to cut my bangs. And I don't get it. There's like, I watched this guy just to see what 3.5 million people were going for. And he had, I don't know, God, like 4.5 million subscribers or some crap. I'm like, to part his hair. Now, maybe I don't understand Korean, so the idea that maybe he says something during it, maybe he's funny. That's not my point. It's that the subject matter is how to part your hair. That's my point. Are we sold on the AI? Participate. Choose to make the difference yourself. That's the difference. Wait, Breaking Dawn. I have to hang on a sec. He's teaching the iRobots. Yes, he might be an iRobot, actually, Dawn, to that point. Because, like, why wouldn't they program in hairstyles from, and anyway, it's that when people claim that, well, we're a part of the Matrix. If you're watching some guy part his hair every day, or, if you sorry, if that's your point, but if you're a part of that, then you are a part of the Matrix. I'm not. I'll look at it, ha ha ha, point his hair, 3.5 million people, holy crap, well, good for them. But hopefully he's got something good to, maybe he's got some good wisdom. I'm not trying to knock it, really not. But my point is to where people's thoughts are. And I think about my granddaughter who's in the Women's Correctional Institute in Connecticut due to being a crazy person and thinking that being a hoe and a dancer and all that. And I'll talk about my granddaughter because I can. And she did these things and she posted it all over the internet for everybody to watch. So me talking about it ain't squat. But I'm speaking about one of my relatives, my granddaughter. All right. And as much as I love her and as much as I've tried to coach her and to just gently, honey, do you really think that's a good idea? And okay, well, then maybe going to jail is what you need. But in her respect, she's a tough ass bitch. She's tough. She's tough. She's going to hang out with her girls. And so she gets whatever and beat up. And she's tough. She's one of the, oh my God. What's that getting you, girl? Well, you're in jail now for high crimes and misdemeanors and drugs and you lost your daughter. You lost all rights. You now are a full-fledged felon, and your chances of you getting your daughter back, my granddaughter, by the way, actually it's my great-granddaughter, I might not ever get a chance to see her because of her mistakes. Is she a part of the Matrix? Yes. Because she lived for the cell phone. Every 10 minutes, she's taking a selfie. She's posing. She's showing them bitches what she looks like. Could she be quiet for 2 hours without trying to get on Facebook and get somebody to get some kind of attention going? No. She just couldn't stand it. Middle of the night, middle of the day, didn't matter. She had to have this input back from other people. So when I speak, I know my granddaughter. She is a subset of these people out there now in their 20s, late teens, and 20s. And so when I speak about people that I know, I'm speaking about my granddaughter, okay? I'm speaking about a family member. And damn it, that pisses me off. It sucks to know about the universe because can I get it across in terms that my granddaughter will understand? No. Will anybody else pay? No. Do you think she's really getting the message? I doubt it. I'm hoping. I continue to pray, and I've got a connection with her that she's been trying to block for years. And I'll say, honey, are you through yet? Well, Grandpa, I think about you. And like, yeah, I know, I've been praying for you. Nobody. Yes, it does. Hidden wisdom. But to the point, though, that, these 20, I think she's 23 now, maybe 22, 23. She may be 24, but anyway, I've lost count these last couple of years. But the point, though, that drugs was more important than her own daughter. Drugs was more important. Sex, men and women were, or I should say women and men. I don't know. Anyway. And, being a stripper, that what she loved. She loves it. Oh, look at me, Grandpa. I'm a pole dancer. I like men and women. I like women to look at my body. Well, is that all that's important in your life? Yes. And there's a whole group of them folk. And my granddaughter's one of them. Am I praying for them? You betcha. Am I getting through? Don't know. But because I'm a member of the League of Like-Minded Beings, I know that if I, if if her guardian angel will break through. Now, I went through several years of some crap myself, so I'm sitting back with my arms folded, going, "Well, granddaughter, I refuse to give up on you, because there were people who gave up on me. Well, he's going to always be a drunken and drug addict. Not anymore. Did you think I could change? Well, not sure. Glad you did, but you know, but did you all have hope for me that I'd quit being an asshole drunk? Did you ever think that I was going to be able to give up cocaine and hard narcotics, pharmaceutical narcotics? I wasn't into shooting up, but I used to give myself testosterone shots. That's just as bad, ain't it? Shooting up a hormone. Just saying. So I've been a junkie for things, and some of them legitimately, well, here, take this. This will make, from the doctor. So, but the idea though that, I have an addictive personality, not near as much as I used to, slightly. My cigarette went out and I haven't lit it. So, and that's been over an hour ago. So see, I'm not that addictive. Yeah, but I got to have my coffee. We wish to participate in the matrix or we don't. I choose to participate in the natural matrix. I interact with this matrix when I choose to. If I want to, like my granddaughter, everything was a picture to Facebook, a picture to this, a picture to, my God, the internet probably has naked pictures of my granddaughter, okay? But the idea is, though, but the quantum computer has naked pictures of my granddaughter. And maybe even videos. I don't know. But to the point, the pictures that were on Facebook were racy enough, knowing she took pictures with her and her girls and guys and whatever them bitches do. That's her words, not mine. It's already in the matrix. So she's awash with this stuff. Keep praying. I keep praying that there's hope. I refuse to give up. There's always hope. Let me see what, nobody. Why do you need to understand anything in this in this universe? Nobody. We don't. If that's your choice. When I was a kid going to, Catholic school, what is our purpose? Like you say, Marie, what is our purpose? The purpose in life is to learn about life. It's to expand us. Why am I here? To do the best damn job as a human being. So when my consciousness leaves this realm, I can take that knowledge with me into the universe, back into the big quantum. So it's like, why do you need to understand anything in this universe? You don't. It's a choice. But the thing is the more you understand about your place in the universe, it's just easier to get along. There's all kinds of little special niceties that come along with it, if you will. The scent of a flower will trigger certain memories and emotions. That's a good thing. It'll help trigger the scent of flowers or the smell of a good stew cooking on the stove. It's the idea of experience. If I just came to this planet, and let's take the Bible and one of the parables, and that, the master of the house brings in 3 servants. He gives one of them 5, one of them 3, and another one just 1 talent. Now, back in the day, they always said a talent was a figure in exchange of money. In my realm, I looked at talent as a talent. God gives you 5 talents. Like you can wire electric boxes. You can saw a board in two. You can cook. You can sew. I don't know, maybe you can drive. But so the next person only gets 3 talents. He's a good carpenter, he's a decent plumber, and he knows how to, I don't know, tend horses. And the last guy, he gets 1 talent. He knows how to mop floors. Okay. So the master comes back, and the guy that have 5 talents, he's got 10. He's doubled them. Same thing with the second servant. And to the third one, he goes, "What? Well, I took your talent and I buried it so I could give it back to you when you got here. So what's the purpose of that? None. So if you come into this universe, and if you think, well, I don't really give a crap and don't care, um, then when you go back to wherever it is, you're going to go, okay, so what did you learn? Well, I don't know. I got down there and I didn't think there was any use to it. So I just decided to sit and waste my time and be a stick in the mud. But we gave you an opportunity to expand yourself and to learn and to, well, yeah, well, I didn't see the purpose of it. Oh, I didn't see it good at it. I just decided that, I'm just a part of this matrix. Who gives a crap? So why do we need to understand this universe? You don't, if you don't want to. It's free choice. That's the whole part of it. But for those of us who know there is something internally different, it's just understanding whether or not it's where we came from. I came from the universe. I came from my own self in a previous life. There's so many things that I've already proven to myself, and I've mentioned on video that I've been here on this place before. So, and I've been to certain places here in South Georgia before. Anyway, that is what it is. But to the point, though, if you wish to understand more of who you are, if you don't care, well, I'm who I am. I smoke cigarettes, I drink whiskey, I chase women, and I don't give a shit if my wife knows about it. Well, then that's the person you are, and that you sow what you reap, or you reap what you sow. So what are you going to get out of this life? You'll find out when you get there. Not my choice to say, well, you're going to go to hell for what you did. I think hell to a lot of people are going to be, you know what? Son of a bitch, you gave, meaning the high spirit, quantum, the big universe, gave me a chance to come down here on this planet and experience, to learn, to gain knowledge, to insight, to expand my spirit as part of the grander universe, having nothing to do with the Matrix or the AI, but to just be a better spirit in the whole scheme of things. Well, who cares? Why should I do that? Well, when you get back and you're sitting there going, you mean I spent the last 70 years on that planet down there and I came back up here and this is all I learned? That's going to be your hell. You're going to go, shit, I passed up this opportunity to learn this and this and this and this. And I just said, that's going to be your hell, your guilty conscience, in my opinion. Because when you go up there, you're going to say, well, call it heaven. And heaven's heaven is a box. Pearly gates. You go in, can you come back out? Nobody says, just saying. But the idea, though, that does it really matter? It's up to you. But that's the part of this that I'm trying to say. Understanding the universe sucks because people ask inane questions that, why does it matter? Should we even ask the questions? Who gives a rat's butt? So you understand the universe. So what about that? My universe is this, and I don't give a shit. Well, I don't think about that there is no God. Well, I don't believe in the gods that other people do. I don't worship anything. I understand a higher spirit of things, but do I still want to be a better person? Do I still want to be better in here regardless? Yeah. And if you don't have that desire to just be a better person, well, then I'm okie dokie. I'll keep saying prayers. But the bottom line is you're not part of the league of like-minded beings, because You don't have, not yet anyway, you're not aware of that part that says, wait a minute, there's more to this than a pair of Nikes. There's more to this than the sports channel. There's more to this than whatever. I can still watch the sports channel and I can still be aware of the universe. You can do them both. But does one take precedence over the other? By choice. Have I become preachy? I'm not intending to be, but the idea, though, that's why understanding the universe, and I know I got a long way to go, but a couple of weeks ago, it's been almost a month now, when I did a video when I came back and talked about how I went on the lake and was taken up into the universe, and I've seen so many other pictures here in these last couple of weeks that represent this, and I was like, wow, they took me physically, boom, up into the stars and brought me back. I can't explain it. I've done my best. But unless you allow yourself to have these experiences, then you'll never have them. And if you say, well, what difference does it make? Well, then you're never going to have them. And or your chances are greatly reduced. Why does it matter? Try it and see. That's the answer. Try it. What have you got to lose? To go be quiet for a while? To unplug your phone? To go out into a as rural a spot as you can get and be with nature? That's going to hurt you? Just say it. I love you all. Ha ha ha. Preacher Dave. Wait, I can't read the bottom when I got to put my glasses on. You're such a hoot, Marie. Thank you. The earth is the cradle. Absolutely. For us right now. But what about Venus? Venus is in the news a lot lately, and that the Venusians are back. The Venusians, people from Venus, are back. What do you mean they're back? Hawkeye, right? What do you mean they're back? Years ago, there's some stuff that is kind of hidden in the Project Bluebeam, Project Paperclip, all them projects, the Blue Book, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, in that there were visitors from Venus. We sent probes into Venus, and they shot them down and said, if you send anything back, don't do that. And so that there was a group of folk from Venus that had come to Earth as an emissary, whatever, talked to some folks, and they were like, screw you. And the Venetians were like, okie dokie, well, leave me alone, And now it seems that things have changed in certain areas, and the Venusians are back. Take that for what you will. Anyway, just thought that was a little bit of interesting tidbit of information. I keep my ear in the back channels, kind of, sort of. It's just interesting that you have thoughts or visions. I get little slideshows, or sometimes just a picture, maybe two pictures. And in that picture, there's a crap load of stuff, metadata. And I was shown, and some other folks, and Venus came up, and it was like, what? But now Venus popped back up in the news. That's like a, whoops, wait a minute, there we go. They show me a picture, tell me about some stuff, keep an eye on Venus, and then it starts showing back up in the news. Just, that's their way of telling me, see, we told you that Venus is going to become important again. Okay, don't know what it means, just saying. So that cigarette's finally gone after 2.5 hours. I love you all. Marie, you have to start from top. Absolutely. Start in the middle. The whole idea, but I agree with you, but the whole idea to this thing is start to understand there's more to this than just what people talk about. They think, well, if I don't worship something, then it must not be real. So I've had folks tell me, say, well, who do you worship, Hawkeye? Nobody. Well, what about the creator? You talk about the creator. Don't you worship the creator? No, I don't. I don't worship anything. But there are people who seem to have this idea that if they can't worship something, then there's no meaning to it. And it's like, but why must you worship anything? The God of my creation didn't ask to be worshiped. He asked to be adored. He asked that we would respect and honor him. And that's why a lot of people think that, well, Native Americans, they're all about this pagan stuff and they dance around a fire. They do it in honor of the great creator. They do it in honor of Mother Earth. Everything is done with honor to something. And we as a species have lost our honor to each other in a lot of ways. I've talked about honor before in videos, but my point to that in this reality, though, and why it sucks, is that, wait a minute, it's not about worship. It's about honoring Mother Earth, Father Sky, Sister Moon, however you want to look at it. Honor the universe because it's there. Just honor it. It's not about worship. It isn't. But people there are certain folks, and I know some of these people, and they've got to go worship on Sundays. But why? Can't you just go and pray? Can't you just go have, the fellowship? No, you have to go worship this Sunday. What? A false God, the God in the Bible? I mean, don't get me started on that one. But the idea, though, they have to have something to worship. Why can't they just worship honor? And I've kind of said this before, worship sounds like whoreship. Like you're a whore and you're part of this ship that you've got to worship, you've got to whore yourself to. Anyway, it's elite, but it's not. Let me read your response here, Marie. I do take them seriously. Men who act in the name of God through man to do and justify actions of sin, knowing the difference between good and evil. Absolutely. And there's been a lot of ministers I've known down here in South Georgia over the year. And, if you've heard me talk, 4 different priests molested me at different stages at different times in my Catholic religion upbringing through 1972. But in that, I also had Sister Helene, which taught me a lot about the Catholic Church and about a lot of other things. And she was the one that told me that Jesus went east and studied under Buddha and other folks. And there's some of that hidden information that's coming back out now that Jesus did go east from Jerusalem and there to study the Eastern traditions, whether or not it was just Buddhism or whatever. But he studied his Eastern traditions and came back. Oh my God, you can't say that Jesus was studied under Buddha or Hindu. Or are you serious? That's heresy and blasphemy. No, can't go there. But what if it's true? A lot of it does make sense. His meditation, his going to the mountains for 40 days, his, blah, blah, blah. That sounds a lot like, some monks and meditation and kind of Buddhism, mission, Hinduism, and, Eastern religion. Gotta say, there's a lot of that in there. But they twisted it and turned it into a Bible and, changed a few words around. And here we are. And during all of that, they took folks who were pagans, and because pagans worship things, now they took that idea of honor and changed it from adoration. And I've quoted this in the Bible, the older version of the Bible, in the King James Version, he changed any reference to adoration or adore to worship. So, but that was their idea of their translation. Well, I choose to adore the Lord, not worship him. And Jesus didn't want to be worshiped. He simply wished to be honored, respected, and adored for who he was. It's so simple. That's why it sucks. There are so many things in this universe that are really simple. but that people want to gloss over and go, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm going to take another selfie. Click, click. I love you all. Miss Marie, anybody else that's still hanging out with me, going to close with my prayer. I do love you all. I do. Thank you very much. And I do hope that in your life, things will be as calm and as best as possible. But we have to deal with other people, and that can upset our apple carts. Remember, though, that we can accept or reject the evil or the bad vibes or whatever some people wish to put upon us. We can accept or reject them. Criticism is always good, especially if it's constructive. But when people want to beat you up, you can take it for what it's worth and move on. Remember that we can accept or reject the information from the universe. Sometimes we hear, see, dream things, and it's hard for us to accept, therefore we reject them as being false. It can't be true. It can't be what I feel. It can't be because my other senses and other people are telling me that can't be true. I've done videos on pictures of orbs and fairies and things, or people say that's not a fairy. Those aren't really orbs. Those are manifestations of the camera lens. It's a reflection. When you're taking a picture into the pitch black and the only things that show back up are these little orbs, I believe I've got pictures. They show up. I take a picture in the same spot. 2 minutes later, orbs in one picture, no orbs in the next. 2 minutes later, orbs are back, different configuration. Oh, but those things aren't real. Really? They can't, because I can't accept it. They can't be real. Why not? Well, because you live in a box and I don't. My thoughts are expanded to accept all different kinds of things. Accept universal spiritual growth. Thank you, Miss Deborah, Breaking Dawn. Yes. But we can accept or reject the teachings from the universe. And my closing prayer is this. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the blessings from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your acquaintances, your relatives, and all of your relations will learn to accept and reject the good and the bad from the universe, but accept and receive the blessings from the knowledge and the healings from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, members of the League of Like-Minded Beings, will continue to share what you experience and what you have learned, and that you will continue to share what you know and continue to understand. And you will continue to accept and receive and share these blessings from the universe. They're here for each and every one of us. We don't need a computer. All we got to do is think about it. I love you all. I do. Your actions are caused by choice. You can't blame the devil made me do it, as you submitted your will to authority that controls your will. Absolutely, Miss Marie. Very well put and very well said. We accept or receive the matrix. If you accept the matrix with the computer and that's your world, then guess what? Then you're limited. If you accept the quantum universe, which includes the AI, by the way, where if you are part of the AI's matrix, you're not a part of the rest of the universe. Weird, I know. But these things are important. These things I continue to pray. These things I continue to share. And just doing your job, yes, Marie, without a consciousness, they control that. Yep, man. Thank you. Thank you, Breaking Dawn. So love and prayers, you guys. Have a great weekend. It's going to be hotter than snot around here. So I'm going to be doing breaks in and out. I really want to go to the river, but there's no river. It's barely flowing. So we need some rain down here in South Georgia. I know some of them folks in the Midwest, I continue to pray for their flooding, but we could use some water down here. Just saying. And we ain't going to get none for the next 2 weeks, it looks like. So pray for those of us that are in a drought condition, by the way, too. So love and prayers, hugs, cosmic hugs, Miss Deborah. Marie, it's really good to know that you're still alive and kicking on your end of the planet down there. Continued blessings to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And good morning to you. And now it's officially June. Now it's June the 1st. So blessings all. Let's keep up the good work. And regardless how what other people think of us, remember, it's what's in our hearts that's going to matter when we pass on to the great beyond. What other people think isn't going to mean squat. What is true in our heart, that's going to make a difference when we get to the great beyond. When we understand we're already part of the quantum and that we've just rejoined our other selves and our other people when we go back to there, when we leave this 3D reality. I want to be as prepared as I possibly can, and I hope that all of you are too. So I'm going to quit running my mouth now. States, love you too, Marie, Breaking Dawn, all of you, blessings. And from South Georgia, drought conditions at the moment, we're going to be praying for rain and doing rain dances down here. Y'all send some of that flooding to us. We could actually use it. Blessings, blessings, blessings. And until next time, this is your friend and colleague and like-minded being. I say TTFN, ta-ta for now, down here in Southwest Georgia. Good night all, good morning, wherever you may be. Peace and blessings.